Hello and welcome to today's educational video, and in today's video I'll be talking about price versus tech. Which one do you normally choose? Do you look at price or do you look at tech before you invest in cryptocurrencies? And the real answer here is based on the community's feedback and what the community is like in general is like. It's a mix of both really, because at the beginning people may be into the hype, but then they go into that hype based on the tech too. And you could argue that a couple of months ago when the DeFi craze was on, many people were just into these food tokens, DeFi tokens, yield farming tokens, but they didn't really care about the rest of the tech too much. I mean, they were all doing pretty much the same thing. Most of these didn't even have a website, and people still went in on Uniswap just because of the hype. They would usually get a notification on a Telegram group, and then they would just jump into Uniswap and buy into it. But we're going to actually be looking into two really solid projects which have actually shown this correlation between tech and price, and how important it is to look at both. I mean, you should really look into a project that has a prosperous team, that knows how to market themselves, that are investing in exchange listings, because no matter how you look at it, exchange listings are very important. If you're listed on a big exchange, even as a company, like if you're investing some money at the beginning after the token sale to list on these big exchanges, even though they're greedy, you could say, it pays off in the long run, because if your tech is there, if you know how to market, then being on a bigger exchange attracts whales. A lot of these whales only trade on bigger exchanges like Binance and Coinbase, or Huobi, or Bitsum, or Upbit from Korea. So it's very, very important not to be stuck on small exchanges for a long period of time while you're spending all that money for dev work, and then later realizing, oh wait, well, the whales don't really know about me. So even when they post out those really bullish tweets, then because nobody knows about them, they don't get that visibility, right? So sometimes you could argue that these big exchanges are greedy, that they ask for a large bunch of tokens or coins on top of the money that they ask you to pay to get listed on there. But then it pays off in the long run, right? Because this is the whole purpose of your company. You've started a startup, you want to invest the money on exchange listings first, and then on marketing, and then of course you're building, right? So you need to find a way to divide evenly, right? Because if you don't do that, then the community is just going to get annoyed, they're going to sell, and then the project eventually dies out, like we've seen with the Neo ecosystem, for example, in 2018. So actually, let me look at Band Protocol here, and then I'll take a look at Chainlink too, just to kind of show you an example of how important tech and price are. And in terms of the Oracle solutions too, because I know that we had the DeFi craze, but what about Oracle solutions? Oracles are equally, like maybe even more important than DeFi, because it's so easy now to have a DeFi project, but it's not so easy to have an Oracle project. And if you are curious what oracles are, I'm not going to spend time in this video. I have done a dedicated video explaining the different types of oracles. It's mostly aimed at for beginners, so do check it out. By the way, it should pop up on the top right hand corner of the screen if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching this on other platforms, do check the description of the video. But here, if we look at Band Protocol, so actually from the beginning of the year, we could see here that it was trading at like 23-25 cents, right? And it just absolutely took off then when the hype came on with the old market in general, not necessarily with DeFi. You could see here in July it actually went to $5, and then he had that huge push to just like 16 bucks. Actually, it shows here 15.79. So yeah, but on Binance I think it was just over 16 bucks. So it just shows you, like, I mean, the hype was absolutely crazy. You could argue that maybe it was the whales pumping it, but no, it was the old market in general. Every old coin and his mother and his grandfather was pumping like crazy, and it just wouldn't really stop. And this was actually concerning, because people were falling into these traps. They were hyped up, they were FOMOing in, and then they didn't realize that whales could also be controlling this market. And of course, as soon as we had a bit of a BTC pullback, the market crashed, and then BTC took off, and when Bitcoin took off, the whole market crashed even more, because everybody was hyped up about Bitcoin and PayPal, and they were trying to ride that wave. So yeah, I mean, the gains you would have gotten here from the beginning of the year, I mean, it's just enormous, right? It just shows you. And exactly the same with Chainlink. So here we can see the correlation, right? Because with Band Protocol, they're actually backed by Binance. Binance invested in them and they got listed on there. They were actually an IEO, an initial exchange offering. So they held their token sale on Binance. And that was like pretty much the first light that you should have gotten the first sign that you should have gotten that this was a great project, right? The Oracle solution, which is needed for all cryptocurrency projects in order to get that data imported, for example, or be it a decentralized solution to have that interoperability between different blockchains. But aside from that, I mean, it's a necessity, right? You need the Oracle solution in order to get data from outside the blockchain too into the blockchain, right? Be it any kind of data, be it for analysis purposes, for price purposes, and all these different things. And Chainlink is the king of it all, right? And we know that Chainlink is providing data for the Polkadot ecosystem. If you've been watching this channel, you know how bullish I am on the whole Polkadot ecosystem. I'm not saying there aren't going to be scams on Polkadot. Likely there will be at some point, but for now, we are pretty safe with what we've got on Polkadot. They have been verified and checked, and I've done various videos. Do check them out, by the way, on explaining on how important the Web3 Foundation is when they're reviewing projects on Polkadot before they grant them some funding to help those startups. So I mean, it's very important to have a grant from, not critically important, but it is important to have granting from the Web3 Foundation. That gives you more credibility, more transparency, and so on. So here with Chainlink, you could see exactly the same happen as with Band Protocol, but of course it was slower. This is back in 2018 when it was trading at like 30 cents, and anybody who got in then, I know some people that got in around that price, they were actually talking to me about it in the community. I had a very small YouTube channel back then with like 300 or 400 subscribers, maybe even less. Like, it was a very small channel, and they were telling me about Chainlink, but I don't know why I just didn't really look into it. I was so involved in NEO and all the NEO ICOs that I completely ignored Chainlink, and it's such a gold mine, you know, it just shows you. So yeah, I mean, I know some of those people that have still held, and they have become millionaires now thanks to that. But you could see here, I mean, this is how you could tell that price is correlated to the tech, right? Because as soon as they started getting all those different partnerships and so on, you could see the price absolutely took off here. So yeah, well, there's no real way to know which project is going to do well, because if we look at DIA here, DIA are also focusing on oracles. So let's look at DIA. And actually, they're not doing too good price-wise, right? They're at $1 right now. The total supply is 200 million. 28.2 million is the circulating supply, although 8 was reported. So if we look here at the 1 year chart, I mean, we could see here when they started on the 4th of August, it was trading at under $1. So now it's pretty much back to that price. As you can see, it had a pump here to almost $3, to actually more, 336. And then even more, 380, and then even more on the 30th of August to 426. So it looked here as if DIA was basically going to do exactly the same as Chainlink and Band, right? I mean, this was the hype right there, right in the moment of the hype, you could see it did that. So then of course it pulled back, and now it's stabilizing around this price. So who knows? I think when the altcoin market hype is gonna be back, it could be that DIA is the next one to actually do really well too. So yeah, it's something that I've got my eyes on, and of course I've got my eyes on Chainlink network too, on the Polkadot ecosystem. I've done a dedicated video on that. They have conducted their private sale, they've closed that off, but they haven't started with their pre-sale yet, or the public sale. They did say that it's likely going to happen before the end of this year, so I've got my eyes on that definitely with the Polkadot ecosystem. They are decentralized oracles, and they've got a data warehouse, so they've got a lot of space, a lot of servers to store all that data, which is going to come from Polkadot and the whole substrate ecosystem with all those different parachains and so on. So I think Chainlink network have a big shot too. I don't know about DIA or DIA, I don't know how it's pronounced, I think it's pronounced DIA. I don't know if they still have like a big shot. It could be that they do. I know that Elrond are using them for the Oracle solution, and or Erland is a good project too. But I mean, they basically, I don't know how to say this, but I think that they've missed the train for now. Maybe they're going to catch the next train, but it's just seeing that so many companies are using Chainlink and Band now, it's just harder to see something like DIA take off now, unless they maybe focus on a specific niche, on a specific ecosystem like Chainlink have done. Chainlink were smart because they saw the potential with Polkadot, so they said, okay, we're going to create this Oracle solution for Polkadot only. So it could be that Chainlink network is going to be the next one that's going to perform really well, and especially if one could get in at pre-sale. Again, not financial advice, I'm not telling you what to do. Always do your own research, But please do watch that video that I did on Chainlink Network to familiarize yourself with the project, and let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm curious to get your thoughts on that, but it's just to kind of show you how tech and price can correlate here, right? And of course there are other projects out there that have been hyping and they've been doing really well too, but eventually they end up dying out, right? We've seen ones like Wi-Fi, for example, Yearn Finance, like this one has been doing extremely well from, like, if we calculate from August, when it was like 4K after listing on Binance. I think they were even cheaper before that, before listing on Binance. I think it was like 400, 500 bucks. But it just shows you, I mean, look at this. I mean, it was 800 bucks on the 21st of July. So they listed on Binance, they did really well. They went to like 40K after listing on Coinbase. So this is Andre's project. And yeah, this is it. Like, it just shows you, like, and this was mostly because of the hype, really, and the fact that they've been listed on so many exchanges, and also the supply. I mean, supply plays a crucial part, and now people are looking at that. People have realized that supply is very important. Nobody wants to get into those billion supply coins or tokens because they end up getting dumped on, right? It's the real fact here. They provide staking, you stake, and then you're locked up for a week or more, while those bigger whales are dumping on you, and then you end up getting those small staking rewards, but you're losing on your bigger bag, on your full bag. You're actually losing overall if you think about it. So the staking rewards don't really pay off that much, depending on when you got in. Of course, if you got in a private sale, maybe with a group of people or something, or at the pre-sale even, perhaps it's okay, right? Depending on how you time the market, really. But it just shows you the hype is pretty much over for now, and we'll see if it comes back with Bitcoin's price doing so well. My other concern is that Bitcoin's price could pull back and drag all the alts down again, but who knows? We'll see what happens. But overall, Yearn Finance, I mean, aside from offering that yielding, you know, and being able to farm, I just don't really see it I don't see that big of a deal. Just the fact that they were one of the first movers, I guess, that's pretty much it, and then that they're on these big exchanges, but it doesn't really justify the huge price that we're seeing here. So yeah, this is it from today's video. Let me know what you think. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, and yeah, don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, or dislike if you don't. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.